Cool. Okay, Ava, take it away.
Yeah, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming to our election celebration for the 2020 election. I'm gonna hand it off to Ezra. He is our fantastic MC for tonight. So Ezra, take it away. And you're muted, Ezra.
I'm muted. What a great start. It's a Zoom year. Hey everybody, it's Ezra. Thanks for that wonderful intro, Ava. I'm here with Mika, and just seeing all of your faces is just making me so happy right now. What a group of people we have together tonight. Thank you for joining the Center County Democratic Committee's 2020 election celebration. My name is Ezra. As you know, I'll be your host tonight, and this is a celebration of the fact that we elected Joe Biden to be our president with his unifying message. Yes, it's a celebration. We should celebrate that. And the amazing Kamala Harris to be our nation's first female vice president.
Yes.
And the first woman of color to hold that role. Wow. I mean, we are celebrating. Okay, this is exciting stuff. But even more than that, we are here to celebrate you. All of the people on this call, our community, our Center County Democratic Committee, our volunteers, our candidates, and our campaigns. So I think we can all see that we have 69 people on the call, right? But if you add spouses and pets, I think we're up to around 100 right now. This is really incredible, okay? It is Sunday night at 7 p.m. in late November of the most epic election year of our lives, and we are here. So, I mean, we're energized, we're focused, and we're excited to build these connections and elect great people to office. And that's amazing. Thanks to you, tonight we've raised over $1,000, and that money is going to help us recruit and train candidates and committee people for this coming year, which is so important. So thank you all. And beneath the excitement, infusing everything that we do, we feel a profound sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the experiences that we've all shared together, for the outcomes that we've created together, and to one another for the efforts and the sacrifices that everyone here has made. So tonight we're going to hear updates on this really incredible election year. We're going to get a first taste of the data. What do the numbers look like? And we're going to hear some stories from our amazing volunteers. We're going to hear some wisdom from our committee people. And we're going to hear hopefully some more stories and some cherished moments from our candidates. So we'll also have some surprise awards because there are some special people that we need to recognize. And we're going to talk about where we are today, right now, what's happening now, and important things that are coming up in the next few months. So I think some of you, Evan, you have your dinner. I hope you do enjoy that, Jim. Enjoy your meal, grab a drink, have some dessert, whatever it is. Let's get going here. So we're going to start with a snapshot of the election results from our very own Center County Democratic Committee Executive Director, Ava Bosco. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge Ava. You've been one of the core organizers of all of our efforts this year, and we owe you a great debt of thanks. So Ava, please take it away.
Thank you, Ezra. It's very kind. Just one quick thing in the meantime, because not everyone's going to be able to speak tonight. If you want to add your favorite moment from the 2020 campaign into the chat, we'd love to hear it. Ezra might shout out some of those as we go throughout the program. But I am going to go through some of the snapshot results for the 2020 election. So more Center County voters cast their ballots in 2020 than at any point in county history. So that means that there were 78,000 people that voted, and our turnout rate was around 69%. We increased Democratic voter turnout by 7% from the 2016 presidential election, despite an absence in most of our Penn State student population. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris led Center County by 3,600 votes. Thanks to the Center County Democrats, we ran a massive mail-in voting campaign. We've successfully encouraged over 25,000 people to vote by mail, and we had a 91% return rate with those mail-in ballots. Joe Biden won absentee and mail-in ballots by a 3-to-1 margin. I want to take a moment to highlight some of the voter turnout in some of our municipalities with the largest portion of the Democratic vote share. So in first place, that'll be Harris Township with 84%, College Township with 77%, Bellefonte with 76%, Patton with 72%, and then State College with 42.7%. Obviously, we were missing a lot of students this year, unfortunately. At the same time, it's also important to note that the other municipalities that had the highest margin of vote turnout overall included some Republican-held areas. That'll include Union, Taylor, Burnside, Howard Township, Curtin, Potter, and others. In Center County, we had a number of candidates that led, that would include Josh Shapiro, Joe Torsella, Lee Griffin, and Scott Conklin. Unfortunately, some of our candidates did not win the election cycle, but a big shout out to Josh Shapiro and Scott Conklin for winning their re-election. Some key takeaways from this election: Democrats converted a lot of voters in the State College and Bellefonte suburbs. We did make some minor improvements in rural Center County, but Republicans did a really great job of turning out their rural voters. And as expected, student turnout from Penn State was very, very low. But if you want more details, I would highly encourage you to come to our executive committee meeting, which will be Thursday, December 3rd. We'll be going over the nitty-gritty of those details, also going over the official business of the Center County Democrats. This is open to all registered Democrats, so please do come because it's a great way to stay involved. And I would just like to take a moment to just say thank you to everyone for all the contributions that you've made to the Center County Democrats. And I want to do like a little volunteers by the number. So we've mobilized over 670 people. Our volunteer base was able to send 87,000 mailers, 70,000 handwritten postcards, 37,000 texts to 18,000 people, and we distributed 45,000 door hangers throughout Center County. So I just want to like take a moment to just like thank you everyone for that. It's amazing. We had a bunch of different days of action themes that people participated in. We had the Riding with Biden, Swing Blue with Biden, Our Planet, Our Future, Get in Good Trouble, 46 till our 46th president, a Moms Demand Action theme, and a Veterans and Military Day of Action. Thank you everyone that participated in our days of action. I really hope you enjoyed the special Zooms that we did that covered those topics in a bit more detail. In addition to that, we had the highlight was our fall dinner with Pete Buttigieg. We raised over $6,000 for that event. And lastly, I wanted to highlight on our election day efforts. So on election day, we had over 40 poll greeters that were helping welcome voters at the polling places. And then we had over 100 people inside and outside the polling places as poll observers with the PA Democratic Party voter protection team. And I just want to take a moment to say a huge shout out to Jed Wagner. She recruited a large portion of those people that helped ensure that our elections were secure and safe. So a big thank you to Jen for all of her help. And I'm going to bring it back to Ezra.
Ava, wow, I'm kind of blown away right now by those numbers. Folks, this was a big year, and we turned up, we showed up, and we did the job. So I think everybody can feel good about what we've accomplished. And you know, volunteers are the lifeblood of our efforts. So these numbers, especially the volunteer numbers, really matter. So thanks, Ava, for presenting that for all the work you've done. You know, I think now would be a great time to actually hear from some of our volunteers themselves. And all of us are volunteers in a way. And so won't be able to hear from everybody. Please put stuff in the chat. And if I see something, I'll be able to share throughout. But we have a few volunteers that are teed up to actually share some stories with us. So what are the stories behind the statistics? We'll ask you to quickly introduce yourself and then take about 30 seconds to share what really mattered to you. Eric Denlinger, would you please go first?
Yeah, happy to. I agreed to talk because just to spite Ava, she didn't think that I would agree to say anything. So I'm Eric. I was on the steering committee, and mainly what I did was manage and make the volunteer lists and other menial tasks like put stamps on postcards and assemble signs and things like that, which is ideal because those are the types of things that we don't want people like Ava and Nancy spending a lot of their time on. And when I got involved, I thought that it would be kind of miserable, frankly, like taking a second job. And it ended up being really fun, which was, I attribute to the fact that in addition to being really good at what they do, Ava, Nancy, and Jess are really fun to hang out with. So I found myself by the end just kind of going into the office just for the good company. And moving forward, I plan to, stay involved in whatever capacity that I can help them in. So yeah, we're very lucky to have them.
Thank you, Eric. What a great story. I love it. Let's hear from Marianne Hogg now.
Hi, it's Marianne Hogg, actually.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Marianne. Apologies.
No problem. Common mistake. I was, after 4 years of anxiety, I was looking for the best way to serve. And I really felt I should be doing phone banking, but I couldn't sit still. So I became a door hanger. So I hung many, many door hangers, and I met many nice people. I had a few interesting experiences, but the best part was I was able to sleep at night, especially before the election. So that's pretty much my story. But I think I hung probably 700 door hangers, maybe more, I'm not sure. But I walked all over Stormstown, so that was an interesting experience. Anyway, so.
Marianne Hogg, discovering a new cure for insomnia.
Exactly.
Thank you for sharing that with all of us. I agree. Kevin Sims, please.
Hi, I'm Kevin Sims. I live out in Aaronsburg. Yeah, for me, I think it was great, especially in a year like this with the pandemic and everything. I feel like this kind of volunteer stuff is really contagious. And I think I had my doubts or just didn't know if anything was really going to like take off. Or I didn't even mean that pun. That is a really good pun though. But I think I didn't really know what was going to take shape. But then when I started getting messages from Ava and all the sort of good stuff that was going on, I was really impressed with how much was able to happen, even though we were all so, disconnected and only able to do certain things. I've always really enjoyed going door to door in previous campaigns. And I thought that there was a lot of really great, whether it was the postcards or the door knockers or all kinds of stuff that stepped up to fill that gap where you couldn't do that kind of thing. And then just the more I looked and the more I talked to other people, there was more and more people that were doing stuff. And you could just tell that that was a good sign. I feel like when people are really mobilized and doing things, that is going to help to get better results. And that played out. So that was really great.
Thank you, Kevin. Yes, the energy is contagious in a good way. Thank you for that. And Brad Weibel and Beth Spillman, would you like to share a story with us? Thank you.
Sure. We've done door hanging before, and you were a poll greeter way back in like 2014 for part of the day. But this time we just looked at what was going on, and like Marianne, we needed a way to deal with our encroaching anxiety, and so I reached out to Betsy and asked if we could be poll greeters or do driving, and she said that there's a need for poll greeting. And I also passed the word around to my colleagues at Penn State and got one more of them to sign up as well. And the two of us basically tag teamed all day and covered one of the sites, the municipal building on East College. And I mean, the good news is that it was completely uneventful. There was, a lot of people came through. We basically just kept tabs on roughly how long the wait was, and it wasn't that bad. There were some people who were scowling when they saw that there was nothing on the back of the placard for Trump. They were expecting, they were annoyed that the Trump side had not gotten out something. And, it was just a really rewarding experience to be out there all day, seeing all the people coming and voting peacefully. We also got to make, friends with an observer who was there, someone we wouldn't have met otherwise. And that was a really great experience too.
It's also nice to have the company.
Yeah.
But we, so because it was uneventful, it was in some ways kind of a dull day. And that was great. Like considering how anxious everybody was leading up to it, it went so well. It went so smoothly. The democratic process worked as it always has so far. So it was really reassuring to see that, to watch it happening.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's basically our story.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Honestly, Mika and I find this too. We go out canvassing as often as we can. There's nothing that makes you feel better and more grounded about election politics than getting out and actually talking to people and doing stuff. So thank you all for everything you've done. Okay, now we're going to shift gears. We have two very special awards to give out, and to present these awards, I am so proud to introduce one of my own political heroes and a driving force in the party and in our community, Vice Chair of the Center County Democratic Committee, our very own wonderful Betsy Whitman. Betsy, would you take it away?
Ezra, you're amazing. You must have a campaign up your sleeve that you want some help with in the future. Who knows?
Well, we'll
So,
see.
it is such an honor. The next two people that I'm going to be talking about, I think everybody knows. Everybody here is either a volunteer or came into the office at one point or got the endless, exciting emails, the calls for help. So I don't think it's going to be any surprise to anyone when I say that the Center County Democrats are very pleased to announce that we have two awards for Volunteer of the Year. And one of those goes to Nancy Rommel and one goes to Jessica O'Hara. No surprise there. I want to say briefly that when I saw Jessica and Nancy get to work in the primary, so April and May, and then the things that they came up with in the summer, like the days of action with the different themes and the Riding for Biden and the cross-country tour, they were flying an airplane, building it while they're flying, no tools. They're making this up on the go. They are essentially filled the void of what would have been a very active headquarters for what's called a coordinated campaign that would have been for both the president and then for any other candidates running down the ballot, like Josh Shapiro, who's running for Attorney General. Nancy and Jessica, I want to read first. Let's see, I've just got Jessica's here. So this is what our award says for Jessica. Center County Democrats proudly proclaims Jessica O'Hara Volunteer of the Year for her tireless dedication during the 2020 election cycle to organize volunteers safely in the midst of a deadly pandemic. We are grateful for her tireless work to disseminate voting information at Penn State University, mobilize College Township. She staffed the Center County Democrats office, and she organized volunteers to write postcards and distribute literature. Jessica's infectious energy, natural outreach abilities, and creative solutions, such as the Riding with Biden we've already mentioned, and the road trip weekend, these were critical contributions to Democratic victories across Center County. For Nancy Rommel, it reads very, very much the same because they are almost cut from the same cloth. It was wonderful to see this synergy develop between the two of them. So the Center County Democrats would also proudly proclaim Nancy Rommel as also Volunteer of the Year for her passionate dedication during the 2020 election cycle to organize volunteers safely in the midst of a deadly pandemic. We are grateful for her tireless work managing the Center County Dems office. I might say it's never been cleaner when Nancy's there. Organizing volunteers to register voters, write postcards, distribute literature, beginning to sound that you're hearing this over and over, and her boundless energy, attention to detail, and creative solutions like the days of action. Ezra listed all of them, each with a different theme. Her 46-day fundraiser with those little cookies of the White House and the coffee from I forget the Standing Stone coffee, the organically sourced coffee, designing multiple Democratic merchandise, and all these actions also were critical contributions to victories for Democrats across the county of Center. So with that, I would like to have, let's see, we'll go in the same order. Jessica, do you want to wave, say hi, say thank you, blush, whatever?
I want to do all of those things. This is an honor I never expected. I mean, like many of these volunteers on this call, I was just doing what I needed to do to turn our country around. And, you know, I just really can't believe that Greg and Betsy and Ava and Nancy, that you put your trust in me. I'm so grateful that you did. And I'm so grateful that I didn't disappoint in such a critical election. But I just want to liken, I want to echo what Laura said, that this is all about the people on the call. I mean, some of us were in a position of organizing where we could see all of your activity at once. Like Kevin was suggesting, it seemed like other people were doing it, and that seemed like a good sign. Well, from our perspective, the people who worked in the office that were really organizing from the center of it, as we could see the totality of what you were bringing to the table, and it was remarkable. I likened it on Facebook to an experience I had when I was a drum major of a very large high school band, let me say, and called the Tower of Power. Let me just say that. And we were really good, but like our band director was super mean all the time and exacting. And so when I climbed up on the ladder for the first time, and I looked upon this massive, you know, expanse of this band, and I raised my hands and I lowered them and I heard the first note, I was overwhelmed. It was sublime to hear the sound that we were making as a band together. And I had that same experience with you this election cycle. I was there hearing the notes that you were playing, and it was powerful and overwhelming. And we've got to keep playing that note, folks. This election, we have a lot to celebrate. And it was clear that we needed to all act together and contribute absolutely as much as we did, because I don't know what the result would have been if we didn't. So we have to remember that we need to keep playing that sound together. Wow. It was beautiful, and it was sublime. So keep it up. You are what powered us through this. Never forget that. And I'm so appreciative of the recognition. Thank you all.
Members of the band, that's a beautiful, beautiful metaphor. I love it. Nancy Rommel, who has been has done this in her sleep, I think, for the last 40 years. Yay, Nancy.
I'm kind of speechless.
Oh.
So thank you, everybody. I'm kind of teary-eyed too. So thank you. I'm glad to hear too, Eric. We were fun to hang out with. So that was cool. But just thank you. It was just a pleasure working with everybody, and everybody added a part. You know, it's like we couldn't have done this. It seems like such a long time ago when this whole process started. And one of my favorite quotes that I say, and I had on my bulletin board, was doing good does not excuse us from doing better. And we all did better. You know, we all made this happen. So I just want to kind of stunned and at a loss for words, but we all did better. We made this happen. There's been a lot of celebrating. There's still a lot of work to do. But I enjoyed like every minute of it. Every minute, every second of it was worth it. And again, I just loved working with everybody. And I've probably said enough now because I'll start to cry, but thank you.
Oh, let's give it up for Nancy and Jessica. That's really amazing. Thank you. And I know sometimes it's hard to accept thanks, but thank you for letting us thank you and honor you. And you really conducted the band, gave us marching orders, whatever the metaphor is. So I think without you would have been a very different story. Both of you, Jessica and Nancy, thank you so much. So I think now, take it away, Ezra, right?
We thank you for those heartwarming words and inspiring words, both of you. Such a privilege to know both of you and to work with you. So now we're going to continue on deeper into the organization, and we're going to come to a very important group of people, which are our precinct committee people. Precinct committee people are elected every 4 years, 2 per precinct, and they work year round. They are the face of the Democratic Party and the backbone of our volunteer network. They're there when we need them. They organize our neighborhoods and our communities, and we truly thank them for what they do. So we'd like to ask our precinct committee people, and I'll call you out by name, to introduce yourselves and take 30 seconds or so to just share what you do and what you think your most important function is as a precinct committee person, so we can inspire everybody on the call. So let's start with the one and only Bob Potter from College Harris area. Bob?
All right.
Let's see, do we have Bob?
Bob's muted. Bob is muted.
Okay.
When is Bob at a loss of words?
Bob, unmute yourself.
There we go, Bob.
I don't want you to miss this. This is the Harris report. From Harris East and Harris West, 2 large precincts, we did our best. We voted strong with gumption and sass, our main goal to kick Republican ass. At 84% voting, we had a high rate. With majority mail-ins, we just couldn't wait. We put up 200 signs for Buck and for Biden. The township was covered. There was just no hiding. This year, no door knocking, no front door banging. We covered our turfs, left literature hanging. When the voting was over and also the counting, we voted straight Dem. Yes, we can, we're shouting. Biden, Shapiro, Ahmad, and Torsello, Lee Griffin, and Peter. He's a hell of a fellow. They won Harris votes, all came out on top, but we're just getting started. We're not going to stop. In each coming year, we'll grow the sensation because you know what they say, as goes Harris, so goes the nation.
Bravo. Bravo, Bob, thank you. That was incredible. You know,
Take that.
And now another incredible person who I got to know early in my campaign. I'm just so happy to know you, Nancy Chiswick, please.
I was afraid you're going to make me follow him. Hi, Bob. Well, I've enjoyed being a committee person in Precinct 91. That gives me the privilege of knowing how many precincts there are in Center County. There are 91. And that means we need, if you can do your math, times 2, 182 people to step up to this job, this privilege, this joy. It's the kind of thing that when you want to do something, there's always something that needs to be done. And I wrote down a couple of things that are amongst my favorite things to do. I really enjoy going door to door, getting to know one's neighbors and going into neighborhoods that are quite different from yours, because each one of our precincts encompasses different varieties of streets and neighborhoods. And it's been a real education to know where we live. If you do this every cycle, which means in the spring and again in the fall, year after year, and I'm pretty sure I've done this since about 2003. So that's a lot of years and a lot of cycles. You get to know people and you know when their kids are going to turn 18 and whether they agree, whether husband and wife agree as to who should be voted for. I've had some very interesting conversations at the door about that topic, as you can imagine. I love being at the polling place. You don't have to, but I really enjoy being at the polling place on election day. We have many of our precincts have those easels, those 2-sided things that Betsy Whitman brought to Center County, and watching people come up to that and get informed. How many judges can I vote for? What's the name of the woman from the eastern part of the state? And helping voters out, informing them. And I got to admit, this is fun, having your name on the ballot and have people call you up or text you and say, I voted for you, I voted for you, is fun. And it's also a feeling of real service to the community. So that's why I'm going to hopefully keep doing it. So thank you.
Thank you,
Nancy. See more of you.
You almost made me cry for a minute there, and I never thought that would happen during this part of the program. That was really moving, and about the best pitch we could ever ask for why this is such a wonderful thing to do, and so important. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Our next person is Betsy Whitman from the Patton Half Moon area. Betsy, a nice 30-second.
Yeah, sure. Katie Bloom's not doing it. She's on the list.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, she's not.
Okay. So I'm just going to say ditto, 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 then get it, go on with, I think one of my favorite things though is circulating petitions. So I have the self-proclaimed title of petition queen. I like to see how many signatures I can get. That happens always in February. It usually encompasses Valentine's Day. So you get a lot of points when you go to a door and it's snowing out. And I always wear clogs. So I take my shoes off. People invite me inside where it's warm. And I learn their dog. I learn, whether they heat by wood, that kind of stuff. And it's how you get to meet people. And then the other thing I like to do is stand at the polls, get to see the same people that I saw when I was knocking for petitions. And I also like to say that's 2 times during the year when all the people that I want to talk to, that would be all people who are active voters, when they all come to me. So I stand at the poll next to the easel where it says Democrat. I almost don't have to say anything. It's like a little beacon, and get to know the folks. So it's building community. I'll talk more about that later. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you, Betsy. And now we're going to invite Peggy Jackson to give us from the Bellefonte area. Peggy, just a wonderful 30 seconds of about being a precinct committee person.
Thank you. For me, door knocking is absolutely the thing I love doing the most. I did it for several years before I was asked to be involved with our precinct, and I'm fortunate enough to have the smallest precinct, so it's the easiest one to get around to. But getting to know the people and so on, I remember meeting a previous student of mine and getting her to register to vote. Getting volunteers to several people in my precinct have now stepped up and become volunteers, and that's always rewarding when you can see that. And I think the one story that always stands out, it was many years ago, meeting a young single mother who was very nervous about Obamacare when it was first starting out and whether she was going to be able to afford it and so on and so forth. And I went back to I knew some things about it, but not a lot at that time. And I went back to Bellefonte office and talked to, I don't remember his name, but the young man that was in charge then. And he gave me a bunch of information, and I went right back to that lady's door and gave her all the information and just to see the relief on her face. I felt like she probably was going to vote for Obama, but the relief on her face, just touching one person at a time makes a lot of difference. Thank you.
That's incredible. Thank you for that. Margie Swoboda from the Bald Eagle area. So happy you're here, Margie, and so happy to work with you. Could you give us a brief thought on being a precinct committee person?
Well, thank you. I'm from Houston Township, not Houston as some of you referred to it. It's Houston. We start at Skytop Mountain, and you go down, you pass the golf course, you pass the end zone. That's Houston Township. You head back into the little town of Julian. We have a pottery shop. We have a lot of car repair people, a lot of very highly skilled people, but we are very rural. We go from Skytop all the way up to almost Black and Shannon State Park. Lots and lots of land, not a lot of people, but we're getting to know people, and they kind of know me now, and we're working it. That's all I can say. My numbers don't look so good in Houston Township, but it took us almost 3 weeks to get around to every single door. You have to drive to every single door in my township because there are no little communities where people live next door. And if you do find a community where people live next door, they're all related. So they come very quickly once they hear you're around, and they're great. But it's an interesting mix, and I am so thankful for you guys in the center region for pulling this off, because we're not there yet in rural. So
we're thankful to you. You're on the front lines, and that's where we expand this group. So thank you for the work you do.
I do want to say, every single one of our Biden posters was stolen. All of our Conklin posters were stolen, but our One Black Lives Matter poster in downtown Julian is still there. It has been there since August 1st. So I'm happy with that.
That's wonderful to hear. All right, let's go to our very own Jim Leos from the Borough of State College. Jim.
Hey, thanks very much, Ezra. And thanks for everybody for being here and all that you do during these campaigns, including non-presidential years, which is where we really have to excel. I'm Jim Leos. I represent State College West 1, or as you probably know it, the Fightin' 31st Precinct. I look relaxed probably right now because the election is over, despite what the Great Orange one says, and Biden and Harris have won. Also, the Bills and the Fightin' Irish have bye weeks this week, so I'm completely relaxed. I think this campaign was different. I love going to doors. I going door to door and talking to people in my precinct. And like Nancy said, you get to know when their kids turn 18 and they actually come to you. Do you have a registration form and everything? And so I missed that this time. And the other thing about this time was I really forgot how hard it was to write cursive or print anymore. I mean, I was getting writer's cramps, which is kind of weird, but then I realized I type all the time now. But probably the best moments in this whole campaign were that people that I reached out to over the course of the last, 16 years or so, they actually called me up and they texted me and they emailed me. And they said, what should I do about this mail-in voting? Or I applied for a mail-in voting and I'm not really sure I'm going to do it. Can I come to the precinct? So that's what really moved me, was that people came to me because, over the years, our precinct people established those kind of relationships. And then probably one of my greatest achievements during this is that my first-time voter, Kate Leas, was also a poll greeter this time. So I was very grateful about that. And I was very grateful that you could put Kate to work. So that's what I have to say. Back to you, Ezra.
Jim, that's so important. And thanks for bringing Kate into the fold as well. We're so happy to have her. The political season, years ago, I didn't realize that the political season continued after the election. But let's just say this, that there is no end to the political season. There's no single season. Politics is year round. It's year in and year out. It's every year. And the biggest presidential and the next municipal year are equally as important to the future of our communities and our country. So to help us stay on the blue wave, which is always rolling, we're going to invite Betsy, Jessica, and Ava to talk to us about some important things that are coming up, opportunities to volunteer, candidate recruitment. So we'll keep it quick because we've just got such great stories to tell tonight. So we're going to go to Betsy first. Betsy, take it away.
So you've heard a lot of stories from committee people, precinct committee people, 2 for every precinct. I'm just going to summarize it. A lot of it you've heard. Doesn't hurt to hear it again, I guess, if you're excited about making a difference year round. Precinct committee people are elected. They are the official members of the Democratic Party. They get to vote they vote for whoever's the executive committee, the chair, the vice chair, and the secretary and treasurer. But, and the elections occur every 4 years in the primary of governor's year. So elections will occur the next time in 2022 in the spring. Did I do that right? I think I did. Somebody will correct me if I didn't. Yes. In between, however, when we have a vacancy, we can have 2 at each precinct. We can appoint committee people. We're doing training this January. We'll have 1 or 2 days set up. And so if you want to apply to become a committee person, try it on for size for a couple of months and then get appointed, that would be great. Love to see you there. You'll get more information that'll be on the website. So if you like what you did in the presidential, you'll be able to continue doing it year round. Little jobs here and there. So it won't be as intense. It will not be as intense. Trust me on that, but it'll be fun. Okay. Next, we go to Jessica, I think is going to talk about candidates and candidate training.
Well, thank you. Well, it's great that Jim Lay is he's somebody who always points out that every year is an election year. And I love that he reminds us of that. And we actually do have local elections coming up for the primaries this spring. And many of you are volunteers in your community, and you might want to consider running for that, or think about people in your community who would be good at running for that. So we will have school board elections this year, and we will also have municipal elections today for boards for townships and those kinds of things. And we're going to be doing training for that. First, we're going to talk to people who are Dems who are already in those roles in a mid-December meeting. So you want to look out for that, just to find out what do they do? What's their job like? What's their volunteering like? And then you can also, if you want to pursue that, which I hope you will, we'll have additional training in January where we'll show you the ropes about how to just get petitions on the ballot and what to say, how to do it, all the kinds of things you need to know to be a strong candidate and to understand the process. So look for that in January again. Hillary Clinton said, especially of women, because she spoke to Wellesley College about this at a commencement speech. She said, don't worry about whether or not you're qualified. You already are. It's just about who's going to back you. And the answer is we will. We will back you. We will give you the support you need, the understanding that you need. You just, you're already ready. All right, thank you.
We're going to go to Ava, who's going to talk to us about how we can get involved in this Georgia Senate runoff, which could be give us control, Democrats control the Senate. Ava, let's hear that.
Thank you. So as you guys know, there are 2 United States Senate races in Georgia. They are scheduled for January 5th. We do have a few opportunities to get involved. So I'm going to send an email out tonight with links to do phone banking, writing postcards to voters, writing letters to voters, or you can help in a fundraising capacity. These are a really great opportunity to get involved because it will impact Joe Biden's ability to pass legislation through Congress. So we really want to do what we can in the next few weeks so that we can ensure that he has a governing majority in the U.S. Senate. And that's all.
If I could add something really quick, I just texted Ava, but we talk about this too. I actually have a few friends through statewide political networks and through Young Dems of America. I know some county chairs in Georgia who have been speaking with me directly about ways we could actually really help their ground efforts there, as opposed to just the usual kind of national party stuff too. And I know Ava's on some of this, but I think what we can do is, a lot of this just came up, so I can send this to Ava too, about stuff coming directly from their county parties and their leadership. So we can disseminate, we can get all that out through the county party as well, because a lot of it will actually come down to supporting county parties and ground organizers, all working through Stacey Abrams as well, and like that coalition. So I just wanted to plug that too, because the last thing you want to do is fall into the trap of just giving everything to national networks when it won't necessarily go to the ground level workers. But I just wanted to jump in real quick with that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep it moving here. Now we're going to come to our candidates. This is really, folks, where the rubber meets the road. These are the folks who put themselves out there. They make personal and financial sacrifices. They take on very difficult challenges in the public eye. They listen to us, and they articulate our needs and values, and they stand ready to serve our communities, our state, and our nation, and to work for the best interests of all people. So whether they win or lose the election, we have all grown stronger because of them. So I'll call on each of our candidates from this cycle. I'm just going to give them 60 seconds, share a favorite story, a learning, a memory, and we're just really grateful for what you've done this year. First will be Joe Waltz. Is Joe on the call with us tonight?
I wonder if, I'll send him the link. I wonder, I already sent him a link. Or actually, Ava, do you think you could send him a link real quick?
Yeah, we can move on to our next candidate.
Yeah, we're going to move then to Lee Griffin. Lee, are you on the call?
Good evening. Yeah,
Hey,
how you
bud.
doing?
Yep.
Good to see you, everybody. Thank you all for putting this together. This is such a great idea. We should have this happening in every single county. So yeah, I know I've only got 60 seconds, and I've really worked up my ability to talk for a long time when I need to, but I'll keep this short. Again, thank you all for everything that you've put into not just my campaign, but everyone's campaign. We knew that a lot of our races were going to be uphill battles, and we went into that with eyes open. And so I'm really proud of how things turned out for us and at the national level, because our district, which is Center plus 14 other counties, added 20,000 plus votes to the presidential count versus 2016. And that helped put Pennsylvania over the top. We knew this was going to be important. We knew this was where we had to be to win, and we pulled it off. And that is the thing that I walk away from this whole year from, is knowing that every ounce of effort that we put into this was worth it. And I hope that you all feel that way too. And I hope that we can continue. If you've got anything left in the tank, seriously, get into the Georgia races and find people to sign petitions for local candidates for January, because it's coming up real soon and we need to keep pushing the ball forward. But it's great to see everybody. Thank you for having me on tonight. And it's great to hear what everybody has to say.
So grateful. Thank you. That was beautifully said. Incredibly important. Let's go to our great candidate, Ian Kidd. Ian, are you on?
Looks like we have no Ian.
Okay. Is Laura going to say something for our representative, Scott Conklin?
Yes, I can speak for Scott. Anyone paying attention to the legislature knows, we just got out of a major budget fiasco. Scott, believe me, he wishes he could be here, and just expresses all of his love and gratitude. So much, and he knew this too, we all knew this, so much of what needed to be done to help him while he was really holding it down for us in the legislature was going to be just direct coordination with the CCDC. And per usual, everybody here went above and beyond. And he, of course, he is just beyond grateful and so happy that, we could all work with just such an incredible, powerful group of people. And of course, Scott was reelected too. So, he is just, again, thrilled to be a part of this party and just sends all of his love. And you'll see a lot more of him, in the future too. So that's his message.
Please send our gratitude right back to Scott. We're so happy we could send him to Harrisburg again this year for us. So we know he's going to go to bat for us. Let's bring it on home here with a good buddy of mine, someone that I worked a lot with this year, and just so proud of him. I want to hear from Peter Bach.
Thank you, Ezra. Thank you, everybody on this call. There are a lot of very personal thanks that I feel that I owe to people here right now. Just to my left and below me, Ann Wilkin is there, who did just a tremendous job as my treasurer. And she is like the sort of super unsung hero of the campaign, and I barely ever get to see her. So thank you, Ann. If there is one event that I can point to that sums up my campaign, it would be the Buck Truck Tour. Had Nancy Rommel not asked Hillary to ask me to come to the Vets for Biden thing and play a few songs, I would have never had the absolutely harebrained idea to get with Cynthia Young's truck and ask Hillary to sing songs with me and Jimmy DeCosmo to play drums and go on a tour playing Johnny Cash and whatever, like at the Biden barn with Malcolm Kenyatta, bringing the first gay, Black, young, dynamic rap here to represent what an inclusive world should be, where the rural, the urban, the Black, the white, the gay, the straight, the no matter who you are, that you deserve a fair shot at a bright future. And we did that and we had so much fun. And I will say, if things go the way they ought to go, I can't wait to do 5 of them in 2022.
That's so great, Peter. And I don't know how you knew, but that buck truck story is the perfect segue because this year we had a new campaign season icon in Central PA, and that was the little blue truck, which also became the buck truck. the little blue truck, a worn but well-running 80s era Ford F-150 with massive American and Biden for president flags on it, was the brainchild of our talented neighbor, activist, and just incredible person, Cindy White, and her husband, Jonas Rubinson. Now, Cindy is an artist, and she has a gift for creating images and experiences that engage us, that spark us and inspire us. And Cindy has created a video montage of some images from this year's election season for us to enjoy. So thank you, Cindy, for sharing your beautiful spirit with all of us. Ava is going to share a video now.
This year because I believe that our country is capable of being better, stronger, and safer for all people. And I believe in Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They are true leaders with strength and empathy, and I trust them to bring our country back to a place of admiration and pride. I'm voting for a future full of change, a future in which those in power are held accountable, a future that demands justice and equality for everyone, a future that combats climate change and fights for the next generation.
Voters, if life depends on it, because it does. Trust me.
Vote!
One more. I fell into a burning ring of fire. Went down, 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 and the flames, they went higher. Burn, burn, that ring of fire, that ring of fire. Johnny!
Oh my gosh, wow. Cindy, you are incredible. We love you so much. That was instant classic. I don't know how you guys feel. Instant classic. So brilliant. Cindy was also the progenitor of the billboards. Look out for Cindy. We're going to see a lot more of her in our Center County Democratic Committee activity in the future. So, all right. Wow. Folks, listen, it's 8 o'clock. We're running about 5 to 10 minutes over. I apologize, but these stories, we just had to hear them. If you can stay with us another 10 minutes, we're going to get to a couple more things and then wrap it up. But we truly appreciate you being here. We're going to keep going. If you're on the call, if you're at this event, you almost certainly know what's happening right now. You read the news and you're probably feeling concerned and probably also feeling angry about the attacks on our electoral system and the respect, the integrity, and the dignity of the countless volunteers and honorable elections officials who make it all possible. And we are with you. And we want to provide you with some perspective on the great people and the efforts that are being undertaken right now to protect your vote and ensure that the voice of the people is heard. Now, First, I want to introduce Laura for just a moment, who has an update on some of the legal cases, and then we're going to go to Hillary Caldwell, who's going to talk to us about a very cool project that we just did about a week ago. So, Laura, is Laura still on with us? Oh, there you go. Laura, you want to tell us about what's happening with the cases and such?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to reiterate too. So, I mean, the reason I'm able to speak on this is I'm very close with county officials, mainly who are involved in the county elections board, and also statewide officials who have been involved in some of these lawsuits directly. So I've been getting a lot of these insights even as they were happening or beforehand. And actually, this can be a lot shorter than what I was slated for, especially given that we're over time, because what you basically need to know is that the election results for Pennsylvania are going to be certified tomorrow. No problem. We're going to have them, and then that's it. So everybody can yay. But no, when it came to the legal perspective, Josh Shapiro's team mainly, we could have put him up and his team against anybody. I'm confident of, and he would win. But Trump's legal team, if you had actually looked at some of the background of what was going on in their oral arguments in all of these cases that have since been thrown out, some of them by Republican, even Republican judges, the oral arguments alone were so hysterical that you would need to bring in some of the best comedy writers in the nation to replicate it. It was that bad. And so, I mean, Shapiro's team basically had to do nothing. So that's kind of what's leading us into on that front. However, what we should be really repping as Center County, what you should probably know too, is that especially our county elections board, so our county commissioners, I know Mark Higgins is on the call, so, give him another shout out. And especially our chairman commissioner, Michael Pipe, was one of the people, if not the main people who was kind of running the elections efforts here. And I would say he's one of the most incredible people in the state who had been running these efforts, from everything from organizing drop boxes to everything that the county could be doing. And then even advising other counties, which I know was happening. And then the way our vote by mail room was operating, everything was so flawless. There were no legal complaints. I mean, there were legal complaints against the county that were coming from Trump, but not really against any voter fraud issues within the county, especially. Everything has been just perfect here, for better or worse. And everything in the state too has been fine. We just needed more time, the understandable amount of time to count the votes, and Shapiro's team made sure that happened. So what I can say is everything is totally fine. Do not worry about that stuff. But yeah, if you get the time to especially thank Commissioner Pipe for everything he's done, not only for our county, but for help any advising he's done to other counties, I would do that, because he won't acknowledge that he deserves it, but he does. And so that is kind of, but yeah, we're all good. You're going to see it certified tomorrow, and then, it's on to the next battle. But that's what I got.
All right. Laura, thank you. I just want to say a couple things. First of all, Laura, you're one of the people that I personally look to when I need to understand what's happening. And we're so grateful for your just involvement in our politics. It's really a privilege to have you on. Thank you so much for that. I feel reassured. And I do want to acknowledge, of course, I want to acknowledge Mark Higgins, who's on the call, and Michael Pipe, for all that you've done. I know you've been working on this for years. Years ago, you were talking about the new voting systems, and it's just really incredible. So thank you. Some of the things that disturb us the most are the actions that our very own representatives in Harrisburg are taking right now. I'm talking about Senator Jake Corman, who I actually ran against in 2018, and Representative Kerry Benninghoff, who Peter Buck ran against this year. These are the leaders of their party in Harrisburg, and their party controls both houses of the General Assembly, and they've been saying things that are, irresponsible and quite frankly dangerous. But we're not going to let them get away with it. Our job is not just to elect great candidates; it's to frame the issues. The work never stops, and so seeing what they were doing, we decided to take some action. So I'm really excited to introduce someone who's, I think, rapidly become a real mover and shaker in Center County politics. She did an incredible job on Peter Buck's campaign. We should be very happy that she's on our team. Hillary Caldwell, Hillary, great job. Thank you. So happy you're with us. And just could you share a story about the ad campaign and all those details around that?
Absolutely. And thank you, Ezra, for such a lovely introduction. Thank you, Laura, for your incredible leadership and all of this wonderful information. And thank you, everyone, for being on this call. I'm so pleased. I'm going to cut my statement a little bit short as well, just because everything's getting certified tomorrow. This is very exciting. But as we know, just because an election season comes to an end does not mean that the daily work towards upholding our democracy should. We know that Senator Corman, Representative Benninghoff, and countless other GOP officials continue to fail their offices and constituents by bolstering the preposterous allegations made by Trump and his administration regarding the election's validity. Not only is this deeply insulting to the innumerable volunteers and officials who have been working tirelessly to support what has been called the most secure election in US history, it undermines our democracy's very core. After the election, a group of us, including Ezra, Evan Myers, who's on the call, Josh Portney, and others, continued discussion on how best to call out the conflicting and inflammatory actions and statements made by Benninghoff and Corman. Peter Buck penned a decisive op-ed, and we decided that our best option was to place a full-page ad in the papers. We all mobilized quickly to get the copy out there for people, including, I'm sure, many of you, to sign their names on in solidarity and for possible donations to fund these ads. In barely 3 days, we received over 500 signatories and about $3,500 in donations from almost 100 individual donors. We received hundreds more signatures than originally expected and doubled our monetary goal. This allowed for us to place the ad in not only the CDT and Lewistown Sentinel, but also the Huntington Daily News and the Harrisburg Sentinel. We made our point at home and we brought it to the Capitol. And it became entirely evident that diligent teamwork and this type of grassroots community-based organizing and leadership is what Central Pennsylvania can rally behind. But the fight continues. So as we approach the new year, we encourage all of you to stay passionate, to stay active, to maintain pressure on the Pennsylvania GOP by calling and writing their offices, putting letters to the editor in the papers, and increasing visibility. To continue the enthusiasm and participation in the CCDC as we look to flip and deepen our presence on school boards, boroughs, townships, and more in the coming season, which can only increase our chances of gaining PA House and Senate seats. To recognize that our voice as a community and as a party must be louder and more focused than ever before, and that we can achieve that by working with collaboration, communication, and initiative. It is up to us to create our own narrative, take offensive measures, and make the change, and we hope you'll join us. Thanks.
Yay, Hillary, thank you. So great to work with you, Hillary. Thank you for that. Okay, and that's where we're going to leave it. Now, before we go, I would just want to say one very important thing here. A big thank you to our Center County Democratic Committee Chair, Greg Stewart. I think we should all give Greg a round of applause. Greg does so much for all of us, and having been a candidate, a campaign member, a CCDC executive committee member, I'm always so impressed with Greg's passion for winning and for helping us all to feel proud to be Democrats in Center County. Very grateful for everything you do, Greg. Couple of reminders, join us for the Center County Democratic Committee Executive Committee meeting Thursday, December 3rd at 7 p.m. It's usually the third Thursday of every month. It's open to Democrats. Please come and join us, see what's going on, get involved. Ava's going to send around information with contact, dates, everything you need, Google Forms to sign up, to volunteer, and check out our website, centercountydems.com, for more information. Thank you for staying with us a little bit over time. Love all of you. Let's keep going, keep the wave going, and have a great night. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, friends.
Woohoo! Everyone on mute, say hello, goodbye, yay.
Bye, all.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you all.
Great to see everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Oh my gosh, we did it.
You're the best.
Thank you, everybody.
Love you. Miss everybody. Thanks, Eva. Great seeing you. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
See you in January training, yay.
Indeed.
Stay healthy, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, Mindy, hey, where's Leo? Hi, Art. I see Art there. Robert D's phone. Okay. And Elaine, hey, Elaine. I missed you earlier. Sorry. Whoa, welcome.
There, now I'm unmuted. Hi.
Yay.
Thank you.
Yay. Oh, it's so good to see everybody. Ezra, great job. Ava, great job.
It was great.
Yeah.
Great program.
Keep up that energy.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.